Well, hello, and welcome to week 2 of our Mindfulness 8-week program. Sorry I've been a little quiet the last few days. As you can see, I had a little run-in, and I've decided to cover it up, but I had a little medical procedure to nip off a little piece of my nose, and they're looking at it under microscopes. Hopefully it'll all be okay. In any case, here I am. And I'm looking forward to getting together tomorrow night and transitioning to week 2, where we encounter the body scan. I'd encourage you to read the chapter for this week and let the instructions become clear, let the process guide you. Hopefully this week you've had a chance to complete many meditations. If you did all of them, then you would have completed about 14 breath and body meditations, and that you're beginning to experience what it's like to be with yourself without judgment, and to kind of try to let go of what we call the doing mode and enter more into the being mode. And you've had a chance to extend that mindfulness practice into a mundane activity. And you've had a chance to start breaking down some habits and trying something new and refreshing your perspective on life by giving yourself just a different twist on things, maybe. And if you're doing all of that, then you're really in the thick of the process here. You're really kind of walking with this 8-week journey, and you will find the benefit. Even if your meditation is frustrating, and if you find your body fidgeting and your mind not cooperating, you're on the right path. And give it the time it takes. How do we stay motivated to complete a process like this? Well, one thing we've discovered is we can't really do it by our old methods. We can't horsewhip ourselves into mindfulness. It's the exact opposite of that. We have to bring ourselves to the practice with willingness and without pressure. And we complete it, and we try not to make a big trial out of it. We try to allow it to be what it is. So whatever we encounter in our meditation. And this week in this chapter, he gives an example of a person who falls asleep in their meditation, and how that can be actually part of the process of growth that we encounter in this mindfulness practice. So again, the instructions for this week are very simple. We're going to learn a new meditation. It's called a body scan. It's preferred if you can do this laying down, and it's about 15 minutes long, and the 15 minutes are spent moving your awareness in a rhythmic way from one part of your body to another, and noticing how you can kind of influence that perception of that part of your body by imagining your breath flowing in and out of these various regions of our body. And for many people, I don't want to create any expectations, but for many people this ends up being a very, very soothing experience. It can also be frustrating, because if we're really stuck in doing mode, it's going to infiltrate these moments. So we're not going to necessarily have bliss when we first start a practice like this. We're going to encounter ourselves as we are, and that will be a mix of things. And we may encounter moments of real joy and relaxation. We may encounter moments of like just disquiet, discomfort, all those qualities of the doing mode that you read about in the earlier chapters of this book, how we can kind of get on a treadmill and never kind of get a break. And so when we lay down and we just try to pay attention to our body, that part of our mind that doesn't give us a break may still want to keep going. And the best we can do is to kind of do our practice anyway. I think of it as looking at that part of my mind and saying, well, give me your best. Give me whatever you have to give me, but I'm going to practice being here in the present moment, and I'm going to persist in that. And eventually that persistence will pay off. It may be a gradual thing, or it may be a sudden thing, very different for each person. But we know that overall, when people do this and they persist in it, they do achieve a reward, which is kind of hard to describe until you actually experience it. So this week, our instructions are pretty simple. We're going to do this body scan meditation twice a day. It's a heavy amount of formal meditation. Twice a day, 15 minutes. So it's 30 minutes a day of actual meditation. If you haven't yet found the right time for your meditation, if you've struggled to do it, don't give up. Now is the time to really dedicate and say that you're worth it, that your mind is worth it, that your body and the health of your body is worth, spending 15 minutes a day, twice a day. We spend that much time on many things that don't pay off anything. So figure it out, lay it out for yourself. And you do get a day off, so we recommend that we do this practice 6 days out of the next 7. So one day you get to kind of just back off. We want to also practice a mindful walk, just one time this week, which is going to give you a little peek forward. Next week after this, we're going to work on mindful movement, which is a really wonderful meditation on observing how the body reacts to movement. We can start to lean into that this week by taking one 15-minute walk. The instructions are in the book, but essentially it's a walk with no purpose other than experiencing whatever I encounter on that walk and kind of slowing it down and taking it as it comes. And then we're also going to practice a mundane activity with mindfulness added, just like we did last week. Only this week we're going to try to choose something different. To kind of highlight the chapter for this week, I wanted to read for you just one little passage that I thought really emphasizes what we're after here. Remember the doing mode of mind, the mode that never seems to let you off the hook, that gets you stuck in relentless and frantic busyness. If you look back to chapter 2, you'll be reminded of the characteristics of doing mode. That's a hint. Go back and read that again. It's really something that you can keep looking at and becoming aware of, this other side of our being, which is doing. And then there's the being mode. So the qualities of the doing mode are judging everything, comparing the way things are with the way you want them to be, and striving to make them different from how they actually are. And that's where we're procrastinating our happiness to somewhere ideal where things should be. They include being on automatic pilot much of the time, getting lost in thoughts that you take too literally and too personally. Our own thoughts can be very insulting, and we can take them really hard and be very involved in thinking the right thoughts. Doing mode includes living the past or the future and avoiding what you don't like. So it's kind of like trying to make up a future that doesn't have what I don't like, but then my mind will fill it with what I don't like. Finally, the doing mode sees the world indirectly through a veil of concepts that short-circuit your senses so that you no longer directly experience yourself in the world. So all of these qualities, if we slow down and meditate, might show up in our meditation. The guidance from this chapter, and that I really feel strongly about personally, is just welcome it into the experience. Don't try to make it go away. It's just that automatic stuff that's running in the background of your mind. And it's a real gift to lay there and attend to your body and then kind of notice it showing up. It's like, what are you doing here? Well, what it would say back to us is, well, this is where you've been for a long time. So I'm just showing up for my job. This doing mode thinks it has a job, and we've given it a job for a long time. We've put it in charge of our life. So if it shows up in our meditation, just kind of, if you can accept it as kind of, I'm willing to feel that aspect of me, and I'm going to persist in trying to get connected to the present moment, trying to really experience being here now. So the general theme of this phase of our work is you know, everything that you find in you that's resistance is actually a sign that you're actually going somewhere. If you were not, it wouldn't bother you because that's just the regular mode of your mind. So